I see the fact that
Okay, yeah. So we talk about sympathetic resonance and sympathetic vibration. And it's very important. And that's how everything around us in your body, universe cells, planets, atoms, even the organizations and the things move on vibration, and particularly sympathetic resonance and vibration. When that is tension, everything ceases to exist. Everything without the wave that it's on. And there's a lot of people on different channels, on different frequencies. And at certain times in their lives, at certain points, so called visions, they're not in this frequency. And that's okay. Because there's other people and other places that are on this frequency. And even for those who may not be in this frequency, during various frequencies of wave frequency, they communicate at different times in different places. So this time is for those with similar frequency, similar resonance to connect. That's why I'm learning not to be how many you know, how not many you know, it didn't matter. It's about what's present, what is present, what is there, because that was the original. So, and from here, what we're doing, other people, because this is going to go out next week. This is going to go out on YouTube. This is going to go out to the world. And many people need to hear it. And feel it. Y'all know my goals?
you can go ahead and start. I'll go ahead.
Not better, but let's be more.
No, of course. No, you're perfect.
We're going to start off. Welcome to the Invisible Temple Healing Time. We're going to start off with Healing Bowl, Singing Bowl, Healing Bowl, Singing Bowls. And this is the time just to relax, get into it, and then we'll go ahead and get into our certain discussion and stuff. Okay? morning, good afternoon, good evening, great rising, and all those great things. How y'all feel?
Really good.
Today's session, class, sharing and discussion and session is on the topic of sympathetic resonance or sympathetic vibration. It's a very important topic. It is what life is made out of, in the negative and in the positive. Ultimately in beauty. So, broad line definition, the scientific definition of sympathetic resonance. It is the common frequency and vibration that people, places, and things vibrate or move at. It is the common frequency, common tone, common idea, vibration that people, places, and things vibrate at. Get in sync and vibrate from one space to another. And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to happen with a lot of people at once or a lot of force at once. It can happen in an example of physics. One tuning fork and a room full of other tuning forks situated in a similar fashion. When you hit one, maybe you can hear it. I'll use something in here so you can hear this frequency.
What is it best to...
I'm sure the audience out there how to get the sound.
I was curious. Yeah, I've always been curious. What's the best element to leverage with that tool?
You see that drum right there? That's on.
I do.
Actually, if I was to put this tuning fork on this, I put it on the drum, my whole box will vibrate. Or even if I take the bowl, mainly because it's metal, I don't want to use it. But I would use the chair because the chair is hollow. And if I use the chair and I play the sound, you can hear the whole chair vibrate. You can hear the vibration of the fork of the chair. But basically, in sympathetic resonance experiments, when you vibrate one tuning fork in a room, all the other tuning forks tune to the frequency of one tuning fork. If one is struck, all the other tuning forks will vibrate at the same time. Okay? Same thing in nature. Right now, that air conditioner is vibrating and it has a hum, it has a tone. In fact, 60 hertz is about C to D sharp, C D sharp sound. So everything vibrating at that frequency of that air conditioner, if it has enough energy, or even a human being for that matter, if they were to actually start making the sound on a consistent basis, build up that frequency, it would have an effect on the objects that have a similar frequency around. That's just the sound and frequency. But sympathetic resonance also happens with thought. Okay? People who meditate or pray or visualize or dream on a particular subject or may have a particular dream or something. You can sit if you so you have dreaming, visualization, and projection. So in the dream world, there are various themes and various things that happen. And when you have people sharing a common dream, that's sympathetic resonance or resonance through dreaming. If you were to use it as visualization, when a group of people come together and project or visualize a similar thing, similar idea, similar place and time and field and characteristics, that dream, that visualization becomes a harmonic space where the people who are the visualization can meet. Are you with me? Right. And as people, when we have beautiful ideas and we have beautiful dreams, one of the things we don't remember, or some of us don't know, is that there's other people having a similar, if not the same dream. Okay? In the world of psychology, that is called the realm of collective unconsciousness, or what I would refer to, what I like to refer to as collective consciousness. I don't want to call it collective unconsciousness. collective subconscious. Many symbols, dreams, meanings, songs, all have a subtle meaning and share space in collective subconscious. If you study the works of Carl Jung, almost everybody who's done a little study in these worlds will be Carl Jung. Carl Jung studied and wrote on the collective unconsciousness or the collective subconscious, where human beings, people, share common dreams, common visions, common ideas. And here's the beauty of it. Many of us, many people, right now are sharing the same dreams, the same ideas. And many times they're meeting each other. And sometimes they're crossing each other by nanoseconds. Sometimes they actually meet and connect. And of course, there's sometimes they don't meet. And in the cases where they don't meet, here's the beauty of it. There are people, places, and things in between those who don't meet that do meet. And that's the beauty of this science. So in dealing with sympathetic resonance, one of the things that we can begin to do is we can begin to actually use collective sympathetic resonance to communicate with other souls, other people, and other places. And then also you find out that there's other frequency bands where levels of consciousness or different forms of consciousness, different states of consciousness, entities and beings who may have passed away are still speaking. There's pieces of art on earth that are still vibrating, and they're still communicating through those pieces of art, those temples, statues, writings, and memories. So we have the ability to shift our life through vibration, and particularly through resonance. And in everything, from the people, even to the things we want. We had that conversation. And of course, we need the vibrations, the meditation. That meditation music that you create was called out for and prayed for in another part of the world. So, and here's the beauty. You ready? Remember the meditation album, CD that I made? I would love, in a minute, I want you to talk about that, because she makes meditation music and albums also. So, see how I mean about sympathetic resonance? It happens. And sometimes each of us are witnesses. So, how can we use it? Sympathetic resonance can be used through prayer. Salat, prayer, chant, zikr, right? You can communicate and put out frequency with intention and actually meet or connect with certain things that you have been thinking about. This is real. There's a couple movies that are out that people have put out in Hollywood that deal with sympathetic resonance. We can go into thousands of these movies. You can start with any of them. Mothman is one of them. If you ever seen the movie Mothman, when you look up the movie Mothman, everybody in the movie was starting to have the same dream. And they all ended up in the same place. And there are actual living records with things like this happening. A new movie that just came out is about the little children all went missing in one classroom. It was 17. It was a movie just came out. And one class in the whole school, and it was 17 children who went missing in that classroom. They all just, and it wasn't in the class that they went missing. They went home, and they left out of their houses at home. This is in a movie. And they left out of their homes. Come on in. They left out of their homes in the movie all at the same time. And the anomaly was, how did all these children get up and leave out of their homes all at the same time? And it all be caught on camera at the same time. So this was an example of, now we want to go, you want to move in? You can move in too. That way you can, yeah, right? The question was, how did all these children just leave out the house all at the same time? Now I don't want to give away the whole movie, but I'm gonna give away pieces of it because now you got a homework assignment. Think about the name of this movie itself. Sympathetic resonance, sympathetic vibration. Now there's the darker side. Remember I said there's a darker side to this. So what happened was, in the movie, an old woman who was, I guess, a parent of one of the children, a grandparent or some type, had got an object from each one of these children in that classroom and took it home and did a ritual. And in this ritual that she done with these materials of these little children, from one of her child got the materials from this one classroom. This is a new movie, it's out right now. The woman was able to do dark magic or dark work on a whole class of children. You wouldn't believe that this is, it sounds like a movie, right? And it is, but in real life this is happening every day, all day. So at the end of the movie, of course, the little boy breaks the spell and all the children are free and parents are free and there's, a couple people die. But anyway, the whole point is she used sympathetic magic. Now we're talking magic. What we call dark sorcery. Sympathetic magic, sorcery. And use that to affect the whole community. This is what goes on every day. You wouldn't think it goes on every day, but it goes on every day in a different form. So let me give you some more examples of sympathetic resonance, sympathetic vibrations. You have it come through sound. Sympathetic resonance can come by everything that vibrates, right? We talk about resonation, so we talk about everything that vibrates. And of course, we know everything vibrates, right? And we talk about everything you can pick up. So what you hear, what you smell, what you see, what you taste, what you touch, right? Just basic five senses, right? So, in the world that we live in, another way that sympathetic resonance, sympathetic magic is used is by way of music. That's the most obvious, right? When you can get a whole group of people to resonate on the same song, same idea, same concept, same word at the same time. Okay? We know that. But the other ones we don't pay so much attention to, that's on television. It's television entertainment, and clothing, fashion. Okay? So when you see a fashion line come out, and now you have symbols being pressed on clothing, and everyone is wearing the same symbol on their body. That is a sign, that is a way to use sympathetic resonance. When you usher out a message, a symbol, or any type of incantation or writing, and you put it on an object, and you have everyone who's going to interact with each other or with that object to wear it. That is now placing people under a subliminal quiescent control or a quiescent communication. Okay? That's going by way of fashion and symbols. Where else did it happen? It happens in economics. When you have advertising and they make sure that they use certain words, certain colors at certain times, at certain days, to communicate to a certain population or to a whole population. That's resonance in economics. And then there's resonance even in the realm of relationships and love. Give you a good example? Holidays. Holidays are the perfect example of sympathetic resonance in the sense of human activity and human behavior. So what's the resonance in relationships? Sympathetic resonance in relationships in the world. Valentine's Day. Okay? So every year around a certain, now, and here's the even more beautiful part, if you're paying attention. Look at what astrological sign Valentine's Day comes under. What month? February, exactly.
Aquarius even.
Aquarius and Pisces. See? And we know that Aquarius deals with what? Social gathering and people. So all of it is dealing with sympathetic resonance, vibration, cycle. And when we say resonance, remember we're talking about cycles. We're talking about vibration, physical vibrations, cycles and numbers, cycles and seasons, even cycles down to human emotion. So all of these things, these are beautiful parts of it. And then of course there's the dangerous part of it when we don't pay attention to resonance. When we don't pay attention to what particular frequencies and energies are we interacting with every day. Why do my children act this way? Especially after watching that program. And what was in that cartoon that made them tap into that character? Or what's in that particular color with that particular brand or that particular clothing which so many people bought at the same time? These are the other aspects that are used. So we can see that sympathetic resonance. They also call it, if you start to deal with occult, which I'm always doing. Okay, so if anybody, let it be known that when we talk about occult, we're talking about not evil. When we talk about occult, we're talking about knowledge that is either hidden or knowledge that is not regularly studied. It's not that it's not known. It is not that this information is not written. It's not concentrated on by the masses.
Like, for example, on the scale of the Moors.
Like on the scale of the
Moors.
The Moors? Okay, for instance, Moorish ancestry and Moorish knowledge. When we say the word Moor, we're talking about dark-skinned people usually descended from Northwest East Africa and parts of Asia, right? Moorish history and knowledge is behind everything you do. And the word Moor is an English, it's an African term too, right? If you research hard enough. But it's an old English term referring to any of the knowledge that was studied by the African inhabitants who ruled in Europe at the time. Now, Moorish knowledge, Moorish wisdom, right? Moorish science is behind everything in this world, especially America. That's the reason why we're here, okay? And before slavery, even, right? Before chattel slavery. So, and though it's behind so many things, so much of our ancestral knowledge is involved with so much, it is still deeply buried in the catacombs of the Vatican, within the ancient sacred societies, secret societies of your ancestors. You know them by many different names. Rosicrucian science, Masonry, right? Which is all of your ancestral knowledge. And all of that, truth be told, is labeled under the occult. And all of those subjects are actually labeled under Moorish science. Why? Because all of these ancient societies were established by ancient Moors. And if you study the bloodline of these secret societies, you can see, and that's why they made them sacred/secret societies, because a lot of this knowledge, once it is applied properly, will overcome and destroy poverty. And you cannot control the people if they become enlightened. If people become enlightened to the knowledge of elementals, you can't keep them sick and you can't keep them dependent. So therefore, you have to keep the upper levels of knowledge always deeply guarded. Even to what is brought out to the public, that's only brought out in pieces. The other pieces have to be brought out to practice and study and search. And that is the secret of, since this is the circle and I'm in the circle of my people, right? This is our issue. There is a frequency being emitted from the center of the universe, and there is frequencies being emitted right now on this block. On this very block in this very neighborhood, your ancestors are praying 150 years back, 100 years back. And this very block, from house to house, all of it. Even to the first occult shops that were started on South Street. Botanicas. All of that is under the traditions of your ancestors and the tutelage of your ancestors. Okay? So when you find yourself being pulled, or when you find yourself having certain dreams, you find yourself going to certain places over and over again, you always say, why do I end up in this part of the city all the time, at this particular place all the time? And I have no idea why I end up here. That's sympathetic resonance. That's sympathetic vibration. All right. Peace. If you find yourself wearing a certain color all the time, here, come on right, bro. I see. If you want to add on, please, y'all can stop.
You do. Just let me know so I can pass you the mic.
Yes,
that's all I ask.
Okay. If you find yourself studying a certain person in history, or a certain subject, or anything, over and over and over and over again, that's sympathetic resonance, it's sympathetic vibration, and sympathetic magic may be taking place, either for the better or for the worse, according to where you at, according to who you are, according to what's happening, right? You ever find yourself studying a certain ancestor or something in a particular time frame that you just keep going back to? That's communication. And we call that ancestral communication. We call that, and in some places, this is another one of the occult arts, this is called necromancy. Okay, it gets kind of sticky here, guys. But believe me, you will have fun. You won't believe how much necromancy is happening with you every day. We talk about communicating with those who passed on. Necro meaning those on the other side, right? I don't want to say dead, right? But I'll say transition, right? Those on the other side. And so necromancy, the communication with those in other planes, is going on all the time. That's what tombstone is. People don't realize that when you write your name, as soon as you write something on a piece of paper, you have helped bring something into existence. The minute you have a thought and you say it, it's sound, or you write it, it's light, you have brought it into psychophotography. We're going to go back there. Go ahead now. That's when you bring it into the third dimension. So that's why when people talk about taking pictures, they say, please don't, in certain cultures you can't take pictures because they believe pictures capture the soul. But pictures do capture the soul. So resonance. So we give back pictures, right? We're talking about pictures. It's about how do pictures capture people's soul, right? Everybody say the word soul.
Soul.
How do you spell it?
S-U.
Come on.
S-O-U-L.
So
But I feel like you're going to tell me
something
something
else. There's no
else.
wrong way. There's a reason why I want you to spell it that way, even if you don't. Okay, now in Latin, how is the word soul spelled? Thank you, sir. Come on, Albert. S-O-L. The word soul is spelled S-O-L in Latin. And that's
Sun.
the word for the word sun. So the word sun and the word soul is the same word. It is the light within the body. Or should I say the vibration within the body. We call it light because we see it. Right? We say light, sun. But the soul is the energy emission that is within the living person. And it is eternal and immortal. It is passed down and breathed person to person to person to person to person. That means the soul that is inside of each one of us, that animal, that which animates each one of us, is still burning bright from the center of the cosmos to here, right now. Right? And the word soul also deals with the word light. So to take a picture, you need what? Light. So when a lot of people in certain cultures say, ancient cultures say, please don't take my picture, it's because they don't want you to capture their soul essence. Okay? And now that's what they're really dealing with. And believe it or not, now I'm going to tell you, I'll give you some secrets. I told you, if you didn't get your picture, thank you, sister. From now on, if you come, and I'm sitting this for everybody out there, because now I don't have to talk so much. Welcome to the new world. Bring a pen. Right, I'm realizing how long I've been doing this. Bring a pencil and pad. Run it back. The soul. So they took the picture. photography does pick up the human soul. It does? There is forms of photography that can pick up human traces of the human
Like
life field?
the aura.
The auric field. What? So would you like to know that name? Do you know the name of that photography? Huh? That is one form. I'll give you an easier form. It's found in Russia. It's called Kirlian photography. Write it down. Or have it in your memory or go back and watch the tape. Kirlian or Len photography. Kirlian photography. I remember a lot of this is coming out of my kingdom. Kirlian photography. Kirlian photography, when you use a Kirlian camera, it actually takes a picture of the human aura. Even when a person has had surgery, or an animal has had surgery, or an animal has lost a part of their body, if you take a Kirlian photograph with a camera that has the Kirlian photography application, it will actually show the part of the body that was taken. If you take particularly if you take a snake, right? So the snake has its tail cut off. If you use this particular camera, it will actually show the tail still on the animal. Just it will show the light body form of where the tail was, because the snake's body is still giving off electrons, emissions, as if the tail was there. And this particular camera can pick up the frequency, the actual auric field. So, the spirit world is real. Sympathetic resonance or vibration is real. Many of your ancestors, that's why when you ever hear your mom, grandma, let's go back a little bit, right? I like this person. Grandma say, oh, I had a dream, and I dreamt this number. That number came up in my dream, that number came up in my dream. And the next day, they walking outside and they tell you the number, right? And then you keep seeing the number. Right? Or they'll keep seeing the number, or somebody in the house. That number just keeps showing up everywhere. That's dream work. That's sympathetic resonance by way of dreams. So, spirit world is real. You're bringing that up for a reason. So, yes, resonance. Even down to prayer work. Now, let's talk about prayer. We talk about people you hear in the church, in all spiritual institutions. In church, they call it prayer warriors, right? Okay. You know how many people have been saved through prayer work? You know how many people escaped slavery through prayer magic? Tons of people. People have survived wars through prayer magic. Oh, we go. Okay, this is a flow. Now I'm open. The swastika. People have always been. That symbol seems to hypnotize people because of the way it's been used over the years. But do you know how it became such a popular symbol? Okay, most people won't tell you this in history. Hitler was a student of the occult. And he studied under a person who was very famous in this city. Her name was Madame Blavatsky. Madame Blavatsky started an organization called the Theosophical Society. Hitler was a student of the Theosophical Society. And he studied the teachings of Madame Blavatsky. And what Madame Blavatsky taught was that there is the root race, and then there's the coming of the Aryan race. And that the Aryan race was to be the race of light and knowledge. And that she preached that they would be coming out of Europe. That's only one part of the teaching. If you study the whole teaching, you understand how it got here. That's another story. Right? But anyway, Hitler took on the symbols that Madame Blavatsky had in the books and the symbols that they used to sell. So what Hitler did was, as a student, as an art, by the way, he was an art student. Ding, 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 ding. So remember that. He took these ancient occult symbols, and when he started his Third Reich, he put the occult symbols on all of his students. They all wore the same symbols. And when he was in World War I, he wore the swastika as a good luck, because the swastika is a good luck charm. It's a good luck charm, and it's a symbol of protection. That's found in Africa and in India. In Africa, it is in the Adinka symbols. And in Come on in, you're missing this one. And in India, it's called the swastika, and it is the sign of the elemental phases of life, and it represents and is used for good luck and mandalas. Now, remember, we're still talking about sympathetic resonance, and the symbols that are drawn around us. Take out your book. I'm sorry, you all right? Don't worry, you got it. You need water, you should breathe. All right. Go ahead, sit down, brother. Thank you, Brother Squaw. These symbols vibrate, and that elemental symbol is used to switch energy around in the house. The swastika represents a turning vortex. The cross with the 4 legs. It is a turning vortex, and it is drawn to shift energy within your homes. Indian women, African women, that includes none other than African women, I'm talking about Haitian women, I'm talking about women on the continent of Africa, and yes, I said Haitian women, because all of this science is known in Haiti and Vodou, and it is known as veves. When we use sacred symbols to shift the energy in the floor. Why is the sacred energy being shifted in the floor? Because we know that the soul energy moves through what? The feet. And that the way to get energy to move through a place is through the what? The floor and the walls. So the swastika was originally a mandala symbol used to create a vortex to shift energy. Madame Blavatsky studied in India with Moray. Who said the Moors? You mentioned the Moors earlier.
I did.
So now you understand who Madame Blavatsky studied. Well, I'm about to get much deeper. Anyway, I'll go back to that. She put it in her books, and they use these symbols in the organization to help shift energy and get good luck to themselves. Hitler studied in the organization, and in World War I, used to wear that button on his uniform while he was at war, and it was war to give him protection and good luck. So when he built his socialist party through art and science, he made that the official symbol for the organization. And that's how it became such a monstrous symbol, because he did killings and raping and murdering of whole ethnic groups, Jewish people, black people, and other white people for that matter, under that symbol. So now people associate a good luck mandala. And by the way, one of your ancestors used the symbol before Hitler right here in Philadelphia. I'll get back to you. That's why I said you need to do some favor. It became a monstrous symbol. He killed people under it, and from that on, every time you see that symbol, which by the way is drawn improperly, but every time you see the symbol, you think anti-Semitism, when that symbol has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. In fact, that is a Semitic symbol in itself. So this is how symbols are used in sympathetic resonance. How when you ascribe a meaning, or you use a particular symbol, and you keep putting it in places, and you do things under that symbol, it creates an energy within the minds of that masses. Right? Now let me go to that ancestor who was using the swastika and all his art before Hitler in Philadelphia. You know who it is? And I know you like studying mystic Philadelphia, ancient Philadelphia, ancient black Philadelphia, like this black mystic. The person's name is Francis Abel. I think you should record everything I'm saying. I know it's being recorded, but if you got pen and paper, write it. Francis Abel is the man who designed the art museum. That's why when you go to the art museum, you see the swastika on the ground. But it's not the swastika you see as in Hitler's flag, because the swastika on the flag is on a slant, diagonal. Francis Abel designed the art museum. He designed also the Free Library of Philadelphia. He also designed Duke University. He is the great-grandson or grandson of Absalom Jones, who lived right on Lombard, who was the first black minister of Philadelphia. So, in his architecture, he always placed the swastika. When you go see the Wanamaker building, another building designed by him, it is a green building, and it's a green yellow. You see the Wanamaker building downtown? You see the green border around the building? Do you notice that it's a swastika all the way around? It's the swastika motif that's used in architecture. And it goes all the way around the building. When you go to the art museum, on the ground, it's on the ground. He used that symbol on almost every building that he designed. So, you can see in broad daylight how certain symbols create certain energy. And he also has the I Ching symbol. Are you with me? You know the fountain that's in the middle of the art museum? When you look from the top, it's a compass. It's 8 points, with 8 variation points around the fountain. And it's put into an octagon. And the octagon, with the fountain with the 8 points around it, represents the bagua. The bagua is the fountain of water that is used to balance out energies in buildings. And it represents the compass, the 8-pointed compass. The first compass is made out of water. And it's the 8 points. This is sympathetic resonance by way of architecture. How symbols and placement of things can be used to make people feel certain energies just through frequency by architecture. Same thing happens with food. Certain foods are made at certain dates at certain times because it directly connects to the season and the mind state and the elements of the body. So symbols, do these as symbols. So I'm gonna stick, yes. The food, okay, think about Christmas. Christmas time, I'm gonna go into I Ching for a minute. I Ching, which everybody knows is feng shui, but the science of feng shui is in the I Ching. Feng shui means, in the Chinese languages, feng shui means water and air. How water and air moves throughout an environment. December 25th. The primary element for that time of year in the human body's physiology is the kidneys. So the primary element of the winter, December, is water. Ice, cold, water, kidneys. The primary, the vibrational element is sound. That's why you see Christmas carols, you light candles, you have certain, even down to the candy cane, peppermint. Peppermint is used to keep the respiratory tract open. The colors that are used during that time. The colors for that time are blue and black. So in contrast to blue and black, what colors are we using for Christmas? Green and red and white and red. See? Cinnamon. Any of those particular elements are all used at that time. Water. Because it's cold and it's watery. And it's dark. The primary thing that is done during that time of year is singing. Particularly Christmas carols. All those types of things. So if you study the bagua, I Ching, feng shui, each element correlates to a certain time or a particular season. And everything that goes in that season is connected to certain juices, symbols, colors, and food. So I hope I helped out with that. Oh, there's so many of them. Y'all can choose on December 25th, Thanksgiving. How food is made during a certain time. Go to Easter. The symbol. People think Easter is about Easter bunnies. No. The reason why, and that's very deep ancient. I don't want to use the word pagan. The word pagan is not a bad word, by the way. For the people watching out there, the word pagan means those born or those who live in the hillside. Those who live out in nature, those who do not live in the city, those who are in the yard. That's what the word pagan means. It does not mean a person who don't believe in God. It does not believe that you don't believe in scriptures or that you don't believe in the laws of God. It simply means you live out in the rural area. You are in the hillsides. And that you are not under the auspices of Rome. That's why that became such a nasty word. So when somebody says pagan, that means you weren't under the Holy Empire. Deep thing is that Jesus was a pagan. Okay, we'll get back to that later. I know I'm burning already, but come on, bring it. And the number one pagan was John the Baptist. Because John the Baptist did not live in Jerusalem. And Jesus had to run from Jerusalem. Look up the word pagan. One who lives or is born in the hillsides, out in nature, who is not under the Roman Vatican. Okay? Now, where are we going? There's a reason why I brought up that, because a lot of the knowledge we're studying is ritual knowledge. So as we start to go more into ritual knowledge, people start to label this as paganism.
You brought it up because of Easter and the
Easter,
science
and
holiday.
thank you. I'm glad you brought me back. You know, people are quick to say Christmas, this holiday, Easter, the pagan holidays, right? No, what they are elemental holidays, and that every group of people have a certain way of celebrating. So those particular holidays come from pagan Europe, but they are adoptions from older civilizations before them. Are you with me? For instance, the word Easter is connected to the goddess Set and Ishtar. Ast. And they're talking about East, the rebirth of the sun, Ishtar or Aset or Isis, who are dealing with rebirth. Hence, that's why you have an egg. An egg comes from a female what? From a female chicken. And the egg represents birth. And it also represents the circular motion of the earth around the sun. See? We know that bunnies don't give birth to eggs. Those are all symbols. And they kept all of these holidays because they didn't want to lose pagan Europe. I mean, let you understand. Christianity needed to try to keep pagan Europe. So what Christianity did in Europe was it adopted pagan holidays so that the people would be more advantageous to accept Roman Christianity, or excuse me. What's the other word? No, there's another word for Christianity. Protestant Christianity. You have Catholicism, and then when you break off from Catholicism, you protest like Martha, and you become a Protestant. So Protestant Christianity wanted to embrace more of pagan Europe, including the Catholics. So what they did was they embraced the pagan holidays or the pagan practices of the people. Those practices are nature-based practices. Okay? So all these symbols and all these practices continue. All right? And they live out the other things. The food that you eat during that time all represent what's going on in the cosmos. The elliptical orbit of the sun, the colors of white and red dealing with the blazing sun, white dealing with purity, and the rebirth of the soul. Halloween, Samhain. Okay, come on, we're going to go down the line. Every time Samhain is coming, you know it's coming because you start dealing with orange and black. You start seeing things being painted orange and black. Candy start being arranged with different faces. Samhain deals with the time of the year where the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. What time of the year is it?
Halloween.
Fall. Come on. Halloween, fall. Good. That's autumn. Autumn is when the energy is now dying from the summer. Energy is now waning. It's starting to get cold. Now that it's getting cold, that means the death cycle is starting. Because things die in the cold. Plants die in the cold. Hunting slows down. Everything slows down. So now we're going into the plane where we go in the house, getting ready for it to get cold. And what are we doing? We're setting up our altars. We're storing up our food. And we're harvesting. And since we're harvesting, we have the time with who? Family. And since we're around family, you know what happens when drinks get tossed up and we're around family. We start reminiscing. And so we start calling people names. And we start, remember my mom, remember dad, remember sissy, remember this one, remember that one. Now you see why that happens during the end of October. And right after Halloween, what's the next day? Come on now. They're talking about ancestral communication. After Halloween's come All Saints Day. So we're dealing with ancestral communication. Right before y'all came in, I was talking about necromancy. Okay? And necromancy, oh, thank you. Necromancy, that happens all the time. Everybody is doing necromancy. I'm sorry to tell y'all this. You might not like the fact that all of you are practicing magic every single day, but you are. Anytime you say, oh man, pay homage, or you say, man, Malcolm X was one of the greatest speakers in the world, then you pay homage to someone who made transition, right? And you celebrate his life during either his time he passed away or the time he was born. Right. I'm just giving examples. You can pull out anybody you want to. They don't have to be black. I'm sorry. You're dealing with communicating with those who have left the corporeal third plane, and really they haven't left. The only reason why we speak, okay, I'm so glad it's us right now. I don't have to talk extra. I don't really care, but okay. We communicate with those who pass away. Black people naturally deal with ancestral communication. It has been other people who have made you ashamed of communicating with the dead. But all people who are in power communicate with someone who has already left. You name one person, one institution. I don't care if they're atheists. They got a founder. They probably say their founder's name over and over again. Okay? Name one institution that doesn't give reference to those who have passed away. Name one. I'll wait. Can't find it, can you? And that's my point. Yet they teach us, and they have taught us through religion, particular religion, or particular religious teachers. Let me make that very clear. Not to communicate with your ancestors. Don't worry, you don't have to. They'll make sure you will when they walk up in your dreams. Right? Oh, they don't? They walk up in them dreams, don't they? And they talk, and they get audio clearing to you. So, that's all part of still sympathetic resonance. When you walk into a building, you don't know, okay, I'm going in, give me some secrets. The stone that the builder refused is always what? Not only rejected, but it's called the head. It's a Bible marker, so I don't know what you get. It's the head cornerstone. The stone that the builder refused is the head cornerstone. Why is the cornerstone of a building so important? Because it's the dedication of that building. And there's a ritual done called pouring wine. Okay, I know I'm getting in trouble. Don't come after me. But and the cornerstone, in the Masonic tradition, pouring wine is poured and grinded onto the stone and is placed into the building. And it represents the labor and the sacrifice that it took to build it. There's also mausoleums on buildings. There's dedications on buildings. Someone put someone's name on a building. Right. All of that is communication. That's all resonance. Okay? So communicating even on the spirit plane to various people and beings is real. Okay? Okay, in the book of Proverbs, it says, don't remove the statues, remove not the landmarks or the statues. That's the book of Proverbs. Remove not the landmarks or the statues. The reason why it says don't remove those landmarks and statues is because these are places where certain horrible, either great things have happened or something very horrible has happened. And a lot of times, the ancient people who were there before you placed certain temples and statues in places to ward off that negative energy. Okay, I'm going back to Philadelphia.
Or steal it.
Or steal it. That's why it's to guard it. Hey, come on now. Come on now. All right, now we're going to come to Philadelphia. How many of y'all like going to Logan Circle? How many of y'all love going to Logan Circle and let the children splash around in the water? And then you go over to the next fountain that's in front of the art museum. And when we was children, we would go into that fountain and let's splash around. Am I crazy for saying that? How many people in Philadelphians, like, if you ever see the little children go downtown and everybody in the fountain splashing around?
Yeah.
What's under those fountains?
Burial grounds.
Huh?
Wouldn't it be burial grounds?
Yes. Logan Circle, Logan Square, particularly in the middle of the city, was a execution center. People were executed there. People were murdered. Criminals, you name it. Our Native American ancestors, our African ancestors, right? were murdered there. So to keep the energy down, what did they put? I'm back in feng shui. Please study feng shui. Water. Thank you. They put water fountains in places to cleanse the energy of the air and to cleanse the energy of the space. That's why they put water fountains or large statues or something very strong and monumental there to balance off the negative energy that was there in previous lifetimes. Real work. This is all about vibration and frequency. That's why it's so important that we make the meditation music and we sit in those silences and we create those light fields around us. Okay? That's why it's so important to create, even in the house. I mean, hey, listen, we all got houses, or somewhere we live, or something we try to maintain. It gets funky. I know it do, right? I'm not one to say it don't. But also, we take those same environments and we deck them in the colors and the scents, smells, and the water that we do to keep any energies that are going in and out that you bring into the house to be banished and pushed out of the house or protect you while you're home. You see? That's why your ancestors created the pyramids. That's why your ancestors produced the tekins. They call them obelisks in English. They're called tekins in the Kemetic language. Those are the Cleopatra needles. The needles that go high up in the sky, that's called Cleopatra's needles. Those are antennas.
If you go to Kemet, they're very protective of you even getting in proximity to them.
And airplanes can't go over the pyramids. Did you hear me? Airplanes can't go over the pyramids because the compass needle goes on, because that's a magnetic space. Those pyramids are emitting a frequency. And guess what? They're emitting frequencies right now to everybody sitting in this circle. All right. As far as how high the pyramids go up, as low as they go down into the ground. And guess what's under them? Water. Water runs under the pyramids. The pyramids are as a generator. The pyramids that are in this country are generators. In fact, the ones in this country are directly connected to your genetic code also. That's why when we play drums, we sing or we do ritual, even down to the rap songs that we make, right? All of that stuff is activated. We're slowly getting every piece of our magic back. Look at how. Got the rhythm, got the tones, got the chant. The only thing now left to get back is the right state of mind and the language. And even the language is ours if we play with it, right? So that's what's happening. The magic is being reborn through our heart. Hip-hop is the universal language of the world. It's the only music where everybody get down, but yet black people are central to it. Okay? That's more sympathetic resonance. So to get back to where we were, the buildings are resonating. The monuments are resonating. And when you know those codes and you know your history, you can unlock the doors. When you go into trance hearing your music, you relieve and overcome the pains in the program. You hear me? And let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of us here. One day one of us, we try to get in contact with one of us. Let's say an emergency happens. Let's say something catastrophic happens. Right? Through sympathetic resonance, every last one of us can communicate to each other. This is where you hear in a lot of spiritual circles, especially black spiritual community, you hear us say, oh yeah, we used to be telepathic. You hear people say that all the time. You should ask them how. You didn't used to be telepathic. You are telepathic. Problem? We don't practice it enough. We do practice it through prayer. We do practice it with some of us in small areas. But imagine, Sister Robin said, I just was thinking about you. Boop. And I just called. I was thinking about little man. Matter of fact, I still got your paper, Voodoo Queen, right up in my book. Every time I'm going to look at something, I touch your paper, which means every time I touch that paper, I automatically think about it. Right? Or as soon as I go online, or I'm sitting there vibing on something, or I go online and I'm looking at things. Well, I don't even got to go online and look at things. It'll just be yo, I just got a call and I gotta record this. Quan will call me or I'll call Quan. Or I'll say, yo, Quan, I'm coming around. I need to run something back. You see, it could be anything. Same thing with the meditation music. Like, what you told me when you used the meditation album, I don't want to really give you a story. But when you use the meditation album to listen to during surgery, that's powerful. That relates right here. She writes scores and meditation. So it's just like everything just will click. So the right people meet the right in the right places, meet the right people. All you have to do is create the moment. And it opens up the space for all those different minds to come into one harmony. So, yeah. Any questions? Put it to the floor. I'm going to shut up.
I was going to say, with that, I want to give us a moment for intermission to pause in case somebody needs the bathroom. I also want to ask if you want to play your album during the intermission. You just got to let me know what the link is. I can send it to the phone. But this for everybody, if y'all need to take a break, go use the restroom, get some AC from the store, this is that time. And then we can come back and have that group discussion element. And we have a 15-minute intermission.